sorry. Just a little typo on our, on the call to order, but it's all good. The committee would like to welcome the audience. Viewers may watch live board committee meetings online at tcaps.net/board, and recorded meetings may be viewed on demand at the same address. So just for those that just walked in, we don't have microphones. This is the microphone, so we're kind of doing a test run here today, just so.
Square in the center.
So you're always being recorded.
You're always live, person.
Yes,
Noted.
just so you know.
I think if she singled you out.
I don't know how to take that.
I don't either.
So we've set aside this time for public comment. Kelly, do we have any public comment?
None.
No public comment. Okay, so moving on, we'll go right into procedural items. We are at the draft meeting minutes portion of the agenda. Are there any changes to the draft meeting minutes? Hearing no changes, minutes will remain as posted. We'll go right to district course catalog, and there are no updates at this time.
In August,
A good thing
Really,
going
yep.
into summer, we don't have,
Yes.
right, exactly, so.
no Hail Marys on classes being added, right?
Yeah, exactly. So next item is the English Language Arts K through 5 curriculum pilot teams, and we will defer to.
So we have made a decision moving forward related to our language arts program, which is to make the recommendation for core knowledge language arts, which, if you remember, is sort of the one-stop shop program that had both components that we were looking for based on the science of reading. So it has a strong word recognition component, and then it also has a very strong component that has to do with language comprehension. However, there are a couple of caveats to that decision. And so really what I am requesting today is to approve for a pilot team to look at two different versions of CKLA. One is the current version, which is from 2022, and the other is their newest version, which comes out in 2025. In order for our district to be able to get a free rollover, should we choose 2025, we need to actually pilot that now, going into next year. So you'll see that this isn't a request for the full adoption. This is really a request for materials for the pilot team for next year. So what that looks like is that we'll have about 22 teachers, 2 from each building, that will be piloting first the 2022 version, and then in the winter the 2025 version. Using that approach also allows us to get free professional development for all of those that are on that pilot team. And again, it allows us, should we make the decision to move to 2025 version, which I expect we will, it would mean that all of those teachers would have kind of a free rollover. We wouldn't be paying double for them to have to then update their materials. That's it.
Can I ask a question on your teachers? So, obviously this was kind of they done piloting. How are they feeling about piloting another section, I guess I should say?
Well, this would be for all of next year. So these are teachers that are basically what we were thinking of as early adopters. So they are going to be, there will be 2 people in each building that will teach CKLA throughout the entire year. And to be honest, we have far more that are wanting to do that than we have the ability to provide the materials for. So I've had requests for entire buildings to say, hey, can we all just do it? And we really have to scale that down because we really want to be very strategic about the rollout and to make sure that we're doing it in the right way. So I would say
Are you excited about this program?
Am I? Personally, yes, I am. I think that this is hugely necessary, And as we get into some of our summary data, I think it's very clear that our current programming is not meeting the needs of our students adequately. So I'm excited to, not only for CKLA, but also for the professional development that we have set up for next year. I think it can't come soon enough.
Is this something we can just move straight to consent, or do we have to discuss it at the full board?
I mean, that's completely your decision, but I would like, so financially, we're doing this with grant dollars.
Not the pilot team materials, but the full adoption, the bulk of that will be paid for through that grant through the state. But the pilot team materials, we cannot, I don't believe, is that correct, Heidi? We cannot use the grant dollars for the pilot team materials.
Well, I think when we wrote it, it did not include this section, so right now it can't. I think there was some conversation about ESSER dollars, but I don't think there was availability for that based on when you could get your materials in.
I'm not sure that I can get it by that hard date of June 29th. It's possible, but I couldn't guarantee that we could get it by June 29th.
So, help me out here, originally, we had the $1.2 million for this. So, didn't that have to be spent by June of this year?
June 30th of next.
Next,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Boy, that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I was confused there for a minute, I
Yeah.
thought we only had till this.
No.
Okay, so we've got
And carry it over.
essentially
yeah.
14 months to
Yes.
be able to do that.
And written in that grant, remember that's included with quite a few other things in that grant. So the cost is actually probably, we would go over that anyway and be covering some of that through curriculum. So I think the thought is we'll cover this through curriculum
Mhm.
and then that full adoption will be covered through that grant.
And so that's out of curriculum dollars that are budgeted for 24-25. That'll be in the new budget.
Yes, they
Right.
have to be, yeah.
One question. It looks like there's only one group of third graders, right? And third grade is sort of that, no man's line between third and fourth grade that they've been looking at. Will that, do you think, make any difference in the long run when we start looking at testing results?
In terms of the pilot team, each building was able to select teachers that they thought made the most sense. And so we did end up with only one third grade teacher on our pilot team. The longevity of this is for all K-5 staff. So all of our teachers will have,
In a
yeah,
year.
will have CKLA. Really what I think most buildings chose to do was to look to either a lower L and an upper L, or they attempted to partner so that teaching teams could kind of pilot it together. But this is really, it's called a pilot because we're looking at the two different versions, but we are going to move forward with CKLA. It is what everyone will be teaching in 25-26. And this is really an ability to build the capacity within the building of having at least two staff members that have kind of worked through all the kinks before we go to full implementation the following year.
Yeah, and I know where you're going with that, the only caveat I would give you is remember from implementation science, you are at a 3 to 5 year gap before you will start to see movement results on testing. You know, from, again, teachers understanding what it is, learning that, you know, there's a ramp up element that,
And not so
No.
many retiring.
right, I mean, you know, and you may have that too, that's a piece of this equation as well, so, you know, while I would love the results to be immediate, I think, you know, that it's gonna be a couple of years into it before you start to see those results from that implementation.
I was just thinking third grade seemed to be one of the areas that they were looking at.
On the, just on the back of what Fran Wagner was saying, so the total, the grand total that I'm looking at on the quote, the 74,892.60, is that for the pilot program, so that's what
Only.
you're asking?
Only,
Okay, got
It's
it,
for 1 year for
Yep.
those 22 teachers to receive all of their materials.
got it.
And they will get, at that point, free professional development. And should we go with the 25-26 version, we will not have to pay for those 22 teachers to update their materials.
There, would you ever choose the 22? Is that what you're saying, there's a choice still? There is a choice.
Technically, which is
They
why
are
we're calling
sunset.
it a pilot, because
Yeah, I
it was,
understand.
it was a way to ensure that that group of teachers, we weren't going to have to pay, when we chose to update.
And you think so many requests to pilot because they're just ready for a new,
They are very,
Curriculum.
very ready.
okay,
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do have a partnering district, Glen Lake Community Schools, that are actually phasing out CKLA, and we have possibly the ability to get some of their materials, and we have teachers that are like, I'll take it. So that's something that our ELA leadership team will have to work through.
Do you know why they're phasing it out?
CKLA, I don't.
I'd be curious, cause I think Kingsley has the other program that you were considering.
Kingsley is doing, I think they're doing CKLA for the language comprehension strand, and I think they're doing something called Foundations for the skills strand.
So I heard that they were using, and I can't remember the other program you were looking at.
95% group, or Wit and Wisdom.
I think, I was talking to a teacher recently.
okay, so if we're okay, curriculum committee, to move this on to consent for the full board, do you think we need to have it as a discussion item, or are you comfortable moving
I'm
it forward to
comfortable
consent?
moving it on consent,
Okay,
cause everything's been covered.
okay, I agree.
And they can always take it off because.
And remember, this is only the pilot still.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move that to the consent for the full board. Okay, next item on the agenda is science middle school curriculum extension, and I will defer to Miss Heidi.
And I have Heather Wares, she's one of our science content leaders. And she's here to actually tell a little bit about the process that she used with the staff that teach science at middle school. And then I'm gonna just give you a brief overview of the 2-year extension. This is not a new adoption, it's a 2-year extension. And basically what we found was within the next 2 years, the majority of the science curriculum providers or resource providers are gonna be doing some major updates based on those digital tools that are available that are coming out. And so the idea of swapping to a new curricular choice and then having to see these digital tools come out, we felt that was a better option to take a look at extending our 2-year option and then being able to view all those digital tools when the 2-year extension ends. We also are able to take advantage of some ESSER dollars during year 1 that will cover half of the cost of the extension. And then the other half that subsequent year will be paid for out of curriculum. And Heather, if you wanna talk about kind of the process that you did, I can talk a little bit also about our data. So at the state level with our state testing, 10% increase in our science scores over the last 3 years at East Middle School and 29% over the last 3 years at West Middle School. And you've heard me speak about how great our science staff is doing with teaching Elevate Science and the applicable practical resources that are available to them. So I will turn it over to Heather. She is the expert and has done a great job leading her team with her, really, to adopt or extend the science curriculum.
I don't know if expert is the word I'd use, but so we started this process in 2018, like Heidi said, and decided to take on the program in 2019 roughly, and then COVID hit. So we felt like, okay, we get the real gist of it. So after 4 years or whatever, we were kind of thinking we wanted to stay in the program because we hadn't really gotten into the program. If that makes sense securely. So then we it was last year decided to again look at other products, make sure we're not missing out anything out there that is better. And so we looked at quite a few actually, and narrowed it down to 2. And then Elevate also met with us and showed us, their current stuff and updated stuff, which actually made it more, we were like, okay, we wanna stay with this. So, and we're used to it, we really like it, and we're still quite honestly, still adapting and changing. It takes a while to build a curriculum, so we feel like we're just finally, even though we started this process a while ago, I feel like we're just digging our heels in, and getting comfortable with it, so.
Basically our recommendation is to, we recommend $133,105 to extend the Elevate Science curriculum, and that includes a 10% contingency. The initial year is funded through ESSER curriculum funds, and subsequent years covered through curriculum department budget. There are no professional development costs associated with this purchase since it's an extension. And we have opportunity to kind of have overviews on any of the new features that were added. And they actually have already sent you your new TAs that they said you should have had. So they actually sent you some additional materials free, so.
We've had great growth at East and at West.
East and West both, yeah.
Yeah, some really great growth, so.
That's why she's the expert, right there.
Yeah, you just made yourself an expert.
That's right, okay,
Excellent.
good. Okay, well, good, any questions? Okay, so we'll go ahead and just move this on to the consent committee as well, for the approval of the continuation of the Elevate Science curriculum, so thank you, Heather, thanks for being here. Okay, moving on to math middle school conversion.
Yes, so I'm gonna invite two more experts, Jane Porath and Maria Taplin, up, and they're gonna share, I think, Kelly, when we get to it, click on that data link from the pilot, and they can show you some amazing results that they received. But the background on this, if you read the memo, was really that, in the summer of 2023, the district middle school leadership identified the need to really address some gap areas, particularly with those middle and lower level proficiency students, and helping support their learning. So if you remember, they adopted the full CPM version, and in the process, they knew, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, the new Inspiring Connections math curriculum was gonna become available. So last summer, 3 teachers attended training, and they had 7 classrooms pilot in 6th grade this year, and they're gonna show you some of the results. But it's pretty incredible the growth that they were able to see from beginning of the year to the end of the year, and I'll let them tell you the story about how impactful it is to students, because they're the ones that are the experts. They're in the classroom working with students to see how this really has impacted those middle to lower level proficiency students.
And I want everyone to understand, it's still a CPM product, right? It's a new version
Yep.
of their middle school curriculum. And their program is real. We have really high lifestyle, 4th and 6th grade
textbook, and we saw it right away with the kids struggling. We tried to implement some of the things in thinking classroom, and some other best practices. When this came across in one of our year, that actually embedded all of those ideas that we had already tried to implement. We got pretty excited. We did go to the training. We've implemented it this year, and it's a game changer. When Heather talks about kids being engaged, we saw the same thing in our math classes. We put together, Jane and I put together a slideshow that gives a little bit more detail, and we can share that with you if you'd like to that a little bit later. Kids are up at the whiteboards. Kids are using notebooks. Kids are using. They're moving around. We have 60 minutes class periods on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can't expect 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders to just be doing one thing the entire time. So this is built into the curriculum. And then the growth scores kind of speak for themselves. We were thrilled. We were pretty thrilled middle of the year when it was the winter NWA, and then we kind of set ourselves up and said, you know, a lot of times in the spring those NWA scores fall down a little bit because kids are tired, they've been testing. And then when they grew even more, we just said, this is it, this is the real deal. Any questions?
No, I'd love for you to take us kind of through some of your.
Of the data?
Yeah,
Of the data?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what
Okay.
we did, and this isn't, what we tried to do was, we tried to data from last year. That's the red column, so all the way over to the right. It's not perfectly comparable because we've had teachers switch. But so what we did was we listed all of the courses like co-taught and the regular growth scores from last year. And then the second column were our growth scores for the winter NWA, and then the fourth is our spring. So that's the percent of students who showed their year growth. Okay, so that means they met their growth compared to that last column, the red column. We also wanted to show the amount made. So if a child makes, for example, 8 points, that's considered 100%. That's a year's worth of growth. We had some classes where the average growth was a year and a half to almost 2 years. So it wasn't just meeting the growth. They were meeting the growth by a lot. It was over the year-long amount.
And I actually had the opportunity to be in Maria's classroom as a sub, right? Because we were subs one day before they piloted this. And it was incredibly telling about students that actually could read material and grasp material and the ones that needed additional support. Just in reading comprehension to be able to get to the math pieces.
And I wish we had the Lexile reading score for the new material. It hasn't been tabulated, I guess. But you can tell. I mean, the amount of reading that's in CC1, the previous textbook. It's apples to oranges.
One of the things that also really interesting about the new curriculum Inspiring Connections is that there's the tasks are built with a lower floor and a higher ceiling. So it really is engaging for all of our students to be immersed in the daily work in a way with our average classrooms, our general education for all of those students to have their needs met and be able to grow. Lexile Lane is helpful for that as well.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make a comment about how, while the curriculum is just a tool, and it makes all the difference in the world when we have highly skilled teachers who can make connections with kids, use this tool to the most effectiveness. So, thank you.
And thank you for that. The other thing though is that I feel like the curriculum addresses that idea of personal connections. I could go on and on about all the different one of my favorites is there's this question of the day that is posed at the beginning. We pose it outside of the whiteboard that we classrooms. And the kids come in and it's like, what's your favorite shoe brand? It's just a variety of types of questions. There are days when I forget to change that question. And boy, are they on that. It's just that whole idea that it's embedded. You know, when you think about it, that makes sense. As a teacher, you should come up with 180 different questions of the day. It's done for you, and it reminds you that this is what you're really there for. That relationship with those kids from the get-go. Then you have these SEL opportunities that are sort of embedded. I know the most important thing is the math. This is middle school. The other thing that we like about this is this curriculum understands the middle child. And really addresses the needs. I think a lot of times we have curriculum that's sort of like a watered down high school curriculum. And they're supposed to be like miniature high school students. They're their own entity. And I feel like there's so many parts of them that really address that, they understand them. It was middle school teachers who wrote it. So that's the other part to this.
And this is a one-time conversion opportunity, so I don't think it's gonna be offered much longer to be able to convert to use this. So we are recommending the conversion of our current CPM licenses and online materials to inspire non-accelerated math courses, and the cost associated with this is $1,556. That also includes a 10% contingency for account and student fluctuations in enrollment.
Perfect, and so just one clarification, so the seven classrooms that piloted this program, that's the data that you presented, right? Okay, so you're asking for us to move forward with purchasing this product,
District-wide conversion.
Okay, perfect, just wanted to make sure I
Fully understood.
Okay, great, any other questions?
How many classes are we have to catch up?
Well, it's gonna be all the middle, so it's gonna be sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, the regular co-taught and department. Oh, can I just put a plug in for our wonderful Nancy's our special ed teacher who taught and then has a department. She wanted me to make sure that you guys understood all her years of teaching department math. First year she has been able to keep up the regular students because she's able to adapt because she still has to adapt for department, and so that's another big plus.
And that's the beauty of this, is it gives such a wide variety of that lexile that all students can access.
And the only other thing I would add is this is really our first year in that development of those specialist tracks and content leader tracks. And being able to put more of the lifting in the teacher's hands to actually do the research and understand the work, it's so powerful. You know, they're in the classrooms every day. We wanna make sure that we are working together to make decisions. So whether it's math or science or ELA, we're just so thankful for the work.
Thank you, thanks for being here, and thanks for all your work, and if it's okay with the curriculum committee, we'll move that as well to the consent calendar for the whole board? Okay, perfect. Sorry, I was just finishing my notes here, okay. All right, moving on, state benchmark reporting, end of the year, so Heidi will just keep on.
And we're gonna have Kirsten start, I think, with a summary of NWA, and then I'll give some highlights of the benchmark.
So this is hot off the presses. The NWA window actually closed on Friday before Memorial Day. And what you're going to see here, just to orient you to the data, this first graph is really just looking at this year's growth. And as we've been saying all morning, we measure that on this thing called the RIT score. The RIT score projects what each student should grow within a year. The blue lines represent the percentile of growth in language arts. The red lines represent the percentile of growth in math. One thing to note about this year's data is that it does include at the elementary level junior kindergarten, which that is just an interesting anomaly. We don't expect our junior kindergartners to be proficient. We are recognizing that they are taking 2 years to complete that kindergarten experience. So I just want to make sure that you're aware that at least the elementary data has that junior kindergarten class cohort included in this year's data. If we just scroll down, this is really interesting because this is now looking at that RIT score over time. So again, you saw this data when we did our deep dive with board curriculum. The top bar represents from 2018. And the top section is our language arts. The bottom section of data is math. So some really interesting things. One, across the board, we saw much more growth in the area of math. If you look simply at that green line, you'll see that the green line represents this year, which is that district average, and we had that 49% at the language arts level, so 49% of kids saw that year's worth of growth in language arts, compared to 65% in mathematics, which very much relates to the data that the math team just shared at the middle school level. The other thing that I think is really important to note is that last year, so if you look at that kind of light blue line, which is 49% in ELA from last year. Last year in math, we had about 50% of our students that showed that growth. This year, again, 65. So we saw like 15 percentage points of gains in terms of growth. Where language arts, as we know, has been stagnant. Really the last few years, we've had 48, 49, 49.
So just basically all still kind of digging out from COVID, but still that's good progress that's going on.
Well, that top blue line, the very top line actually represents 2018. So in math, we actually
we've already
surpassed that
surpassed it, yeah.
in growth.
And catch up.
So if we scroll down to the next slide,
This is exciting.
it is, yep, absolutely. So this is actually referencing proficiency, and again, if you think about proficiency in terms of those students that are scoring at or above the 60th percentile, again, our blue scores are representing our language arts scores, our red scores are representing math. And in proficiency, you see it evening out slightly. But in 10 of our 11 elementary schools, math outperformed in proficiency. In our language arts sections in middle school, there was a slight higher performance in language arts than in math in middle school. But overall, our district average indicates that math proficiency was higher than language arts proficiency.
And you probably will expect to see it level off a little bit, because I know the algorithm change that they're using for math with NWA. So you'll see next year it'll probably level out as the new algorithm went in place in the fall. But you're still looking at fall to spring at this point.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, this is sort of a shift because usually ELA outperforms math.
So if you scroll down to the next slide, that is showing that historical proficiency, so exactly what you're speaking to, Flinoy. That again, that top line, the dark blue indicates 2018. Then 2019-20, we had no data. The gray is 2021. Yellow is that 21 to 22. Kind of lighter blue represents last year, and then the bottom is this year. So for the first time since 2018, math has outperformed language arts in proficiency. It is not quite to the level of proficiency that we experienced pre-COVID, but it is significantly closing that gap. Unfortunately, unlike language arts, where we're seeing that very stagnant response, right around half of our students.
And then if you scroll down, I think there's a link to the goal planning report. And so again, we are required to report out on this prior to the last school board meeting for the year. So you'll see that we don't have results back for high school. So I would suggest you take some time, if you haven't already, and take a look at some of this data to see kind of where we're headed. I did highlight some subgroup analysis things that I think certainly are things to highlight. American Indian and Black students observed growth in both ELA and math, which is encouraging. We have an area of growth with our English learners to look at as far as growth in ELA and math. Overall math, there was an overall improvement in math of 9.02% growth, and in ELA, we dropped by 0.32% overall. A highlight would be Westwood actually had growth in every single grade level in ELA and math, which is one of the highlights.
You said Westwood?
Westwoods, yeah.
Okay.
And ELA is an area of focus probably for the middle school, something to look at. And when we look at our graduation rates, we know we have been impacted by COVID and other factors. And you'll hear probably a little bit about some of the ways we're trying to look at graduation rates and encourage credit options for students to help kids stay on track for graduation. But four-year graduation rates for CHS were 86.43 last year, and West 92.69. TC High is a little bit different because remember, we're graduating kids in year 4, 5, and 6. And so the interesting thing I found about that in the data is that there was an increase in our 4-year graduation, slight increase in 4-year graduation rate, decrease in 5-year, but increase in 6-year. So you'll hear a little bit later on from us about some of the strategies we're implementing for credit recovery and helping kids stay on track and opportunities for support for those graduation rates. So those were just the highlights that we grabbed. You'll see additional information at the meeting in September again, once we are not embargoed and our SAT and PSAT data becomes available.
Good stuff. Thanks for the highlights and yeah, it's exciting. It'll be exciting to see in a couple years what our ELA data looks like with new curriculum, and just we've known this for a while, so it's great to be able to implement the new data, and hopefully we'll see the growth. And thanks to our teachers that were here today and showing us all that great growth, and excited to support that moving forward. So absolutely. So well, good. So informational items. We'll move on to our board learning series, early, middle, college for Traverse City High School.
Yes, and I'm gonna invite Lisa Nagy up to talk about our program that we had with NMC. And she has 2 students with her today to, I'll have you introduce them.
You got up really early to be here, thank you. I can tell. Yes.
Oh.
Yay for coming.
Wow, that's really.
Congratulations.
And you're here.
Thank you.
So this is Jasmine and Natalia, and they were 2 of the wonderful students part of the NFC program. And
Let them maybe share a little bit of their successes, and then we can talk more about just the logistics of it.
Well, I plan on going to college in the fall. Whatever, I'm planning on going to college. So it really helped me get started in the process of like what it's gonna be like and the type of work we're gonna be doing. And I think what I enjoyed most about it was the way she set up tests. Our professor put a little bit of everything, so we knew like how to write an essay and the multiple questions or having the write out statements and stuff. I think it was definitely a great opportunity if you're looking forward to going to college after high school.
So I think for me personally, my successes was the whole thing. And that's because going into it, I was very unsure of what I was getting into. But she makes the environment very safe and easy to kind of want to be involved in the work and want to participate and do it. And I finished it with 4.0, so that was
So it was really quite great, the way it all worked out. We started in November with this group of 16 students. And we were able to go through all of the processes together, the application, going and doing the orientation, all of the stuff that is a little bit overwhelming if you're doing this as a first time college student. So doing this as a class, I think was really great. A lot of our success is due to the amazing instructor that we had at NMC. Kristen was the perfect fit for our students, willing to give and take and allow our students to be very successful, as you can see on the screen. So we spent our Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at NMC. We would go over together on a bus, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we would spend in the classroom at TC High working on the assignments that she had given for the next class or preparing for the test or whatever it might be that's coming up. So just to kind of like guide the students all together, and you know, they know that they're going through this all together, I think was help them be successful. Other things that we were able to do while we were in the classroom at TC High, there were students that came into our classroom from Life Skills at Career Tech, and we were able to mentor them. So they had experiences with students on the spectrum. There was a student with Down syndrome that would visit us, and amazing opportunities. These guys have the ability to connect with them, and I don't know if they all realize that. So like just having that experience I think was really beneficial. Along with that, we were able to, once NMC was finished, we were able to tour some programs at NMC. So we have some students that are now going to enroll in automotive, some in welding. We went to an audio tech tour and a culinary tour, and I think all of those, except for maybe construction, we have students that will be attending in the future. So students that have also applied for continuing dual enrollment next year or as a traditional student at NMC for next year is pretty good stats on that. So I feel like somebody else mentioned COVID, and we were doing NMC right before COVID, and then it was a break, and this is our first time back, and I feel like it's been really great.
Excellent. And Lisa would never brag about herself, but she does everything from targeting students' opportunities for work experience to dedicating her time before and after school and really investing in every single student, especially in opportunities for whether it's NMC or outside the workplace. So super thankful for Lisa and Kristen Salathiel, who is the teacher at NMC, who supported the students exactly a perfect fit for the kids and believes in them so strongly. She wanted me to tell you that every single requirement that these kids were required to do were exactly the same as the NMC kids. So we talk about expectations for students and keeping our standards high, and they definitely met the bar. And some of the, let me go back to, this is super great. We originally targeted 20 students, 16 were in the program, 10 students received a 4.0 GPA, 3 at 3.5, and 1 at 3.0. And so that was really important to Kristen, that you know that those expectations were not lowered because they were high school students. They were held to the same expectations of everybody else. And you should be very proud of yourself. So
Well done.
The other things that are targeted within, and maybe you guys want to speak more to this, were time management, motivation, learning about yourselves, about how you learn in learning theory and the science of learning, and even the conversations about having a healthy, active lifestyle. So if you want to speak to that, you're welcome to speak to that too.
Alright, so throughout it, yeah, I'm just gonna go with time management. There's a lot in that book about managing your time, your schedule, how you sleep, like it's
Everything revolves around
yeah,
time management.
everything revolves, like in your life, especially during school, revolves around managing how you set your day and the time and how much time you put into things and like how much time you spend studying. And it was like awesome to have that in there and like have a constant reminder of that, because like I was able to take that away and like apply it to my life, and it was very useful altogether.
Nice. Yeah, I put stuff in my calendar now because I used to never do that.
And so the other thing to note here on the, let's see, I had it was the number of students. So the success at the end was 10 of the 16 students from the current class are enrolled in NMC for the fall, and 2 additional students that were not in the program, because of the students that were in the program, are now enrolled at NMC for the fall. So great success there, and then they're planning to move it to a 3-credit course from a 1-credit course. And this is all with the goal of getting to the point where we have opportunities like early middle college for students at TC High. We have opportunities for CTC embedded at TC High. So thank you so much for coming today, and you should be super proud of yourselves. And Lisa, thank you for all your work.
Yes,
And
congratulations.
just to let you know, 50-year-olds still struggle with time.
I need that book.
I know, right?
Yeah, I need your book.
And I'm just gonna put a plug in, knowing that our students were mentoring some of the students from Life Skills. I am happy to come over and talk to you about careers in special education and what that looks like and how TCAPS can support you by having some aid support, right? Getting a full-time job and looking at careers that we can help pay for.
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. It was awesome to hear the students say, just safe and easy, right? To help them in a safe and an easy environment. I interviewed a high school student at Central High School on her final project, and she was the first of her family to actually graduate from high school. So can you imagine the overwhelmingness just thinking about college when you don't have a mentor in your life to be able to say, this is what it's like you can do this, and you don't have to do it all at once, you can do bits and pieces. And so Lisa, that's just amazing that, bye Heather, that's just amazing. That, what a cool program, because again, sometimes it's just about being scared to not know what's coming, and so, really, really fantastic program, so that's really exciting, so.
Somebody to show you the path.
Yeah, and then it's not as overwhelming or given time management skills, like you can do this, so very, very, very cool, so.
Excellent.
Well, good, that was great. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, then we'll go right into celebrations and successes.
All right, so Tuesday night, we got to see the West Senior High students receive awards. This is actually a picture, no, it's their backs, but they were turning at that point to their parents and turn around to be congratulated by their families. Awesome night, always love these nights when students are being recognized. The next one is from Monday night, and that was Central High School. Both just amazing opportunities to recognize students in really intentional ways and, not take away from the graduation day, but to just have some time to just celebrate. It was really awesome. Next is a picture from both West and Central High School students who were in Lansing last week, or this month, I guess it was, visiting with Representatives Roth and Kofia and Senator DeMoose. And they got to tour offices, talk with lobbyists, so really exciting opportunity for these students. We have a lot of celebrations. This is an exciting time for TCAPS Montessori. There was a Junior Honors Society. We had inductions that were happening this month, so congratulations to the inaugural group for TCAPS Montessori Junior Honors Society members. Next, we'd like to welcome our newest therapy dog, McKinley. I think this makes it what, nine dogs? Nine therapy dogs in the district. I have a beautiful story with therapy dogs just from the beginning, starting here with all the therapy dog policies and learning about all the dogs and seeing them in action and just the impact they have on students. So this is a therapy dog. You put it back one side.
Yep.
No, this is McKinley, and this is McKinley's at both West and East Middle School. So
Well, and
welcome
with-
McKinley.
With Mavericks retiring too from Traverse City High School.
You know,
he's
there's a
gonna
bug
keep-
in
so-
people's ear about finding
Maverick
a
2.0.
replacement. There's a 2.0. Maverick 2.0. Yep.
I
Who
think
knows?
it's gonna be
I think it's gonna be.
it's gonna be hard for Maverick as well as
Oh
our
my
students.
gosh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maverick
Mav's in
is
a good
sweet
routine
dog.
over there. Just you know, it's a thing.
We need, Jen needs to adopt a dog. down
I'll let her know. I'll let her know. That was
Requirement.
not a requirement, but we could
By
let her
the
know.
way.
All other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
get a dog.
East Middle School is setting up a mentoring program starting next year with 7th grade Honor Society students, and they are gonna be pairing up with Traverse Heights 5th graders. So this is gonna create opportunities for mentoring, and the long-term goal is to expand this to all incoming students, I believe at both middle schools as well. Really excited, we got news last week that Brian Kay, principal at Traverse Heights, received a $9,000 award. It's kind of an innovative grant award through Teach for America that both Traverse Heights and Blair are currently a part of, and we're hoping that TC High will be joining us next year. And what he is funding is an innovative program that the Teach for America staff say is a really promising practice. Having a parent university, so he is calling this Roadrunner University. They're gonna target 12 families next year and host 4 events throughout the year to really engage families with the school, provide a meal, give them opportunities and activities to engage with their students while they're on site, but then also give them tools and activities to do when they're off-site with their families to connect with their kids. And then if the families attend 3 of the 4 events, are gonna be invited to a special ceremony at a Pittsburghers game, where they get kind of a diploma from Roadrunner University. So really cool opportunity, and we're excited to have that here. The next one is just some Youth Appreciation Day at the Optimist Club. These were Blair 5th graders who were honored at that event. And these are, again, an annual event the Optimist Club does to recognize young leaders from our community. And next we have Family Math Night. This was at Cherry Knoll. See our principal and some other staff members participating and interacting with students this month. This was our ELA intervention training. I was not there, so I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
So we have had 4 different ELA intervention trainings that have been half-day trainings scattered throughout the year. They are very technically driven trainings. So the bulk of this has been focused on using a program called AIMSweb. And these are interventionists that have participated in this series. And they are really responsible for understanding not only how to implement their intervention, but also how to implement the progress monitoring tools. Very, very much connected to the 3rd grade reading law and our students that are on those intensive reading intervention plans. So this was just a day, one of the days where they were having some of their learning.
Do you want to take the next one too, celebrating Tracy's
Sure.
retirement?
So this is a picture of our instructional coaches. In the front, in the light blue, is Tracy Westerman, who is one of those masterful teachers who is retiring after, I believe, 30 years in education. I had an opportunity to observe Tracy teaching one time, and it was probably 12 years ago, and it stood out. This is before I knew I would be working with her as a coach, but I remember walking into her classroom, being there for all of 30 seconds and going, oh yeah, this woman is good. And she has been sharing her skills as an instructional coach, as have all of the other folks in that picture, so.
And she never stops learning. I mean, she really led even the work with restorative practice and incorporating restorative circles into her classroom before she became a coach. Just an amazing teacher, an amazing individual.
She's also our social studies specialist for K-5, so big shoes to fill, but she's already thinking ahead.
And congratulations, we had 4 TCAP staff members who were recognized for the Outstanding Educator Award. Terry Munson was the first one, who was lead custodian at Central High School. Kate at science teacher at West Senior High.
And I'll just put a plug in there. I having co-taught with Kate Heidloff at West Senior High. She is a fantastic teacher, well deserved.
Awesome. Mary Beth O'Neill, math teacher at West Middle School. and Paige Paul, social studies teacher at Central. So congratulations. We know we have a lot of outstanding teachers, but to be recognized by Northwest Ed, awesome.
All right, and here it is. Surprise, surprise. Today is Kristen's last board curriculum meeting. And just wanted to say she has decided to move on from TCAPS and headed off to Grand Haven. But Kristen has done a phenomenal job creating relationships in this district, forging bonds like most haven't been able to. And so just super grateful for the work that you've done. We wish you all the best. And we know you'll do good things.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Talk about big shoes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of TCAPS, and you've been just awesome. So we're so
will always have a place in my
sad.
heart.
We're so sad that you're leaving
Keep
us,
getting these
but
ones being superintendents, man. Not me.
oh, I know.
And my
So-
niece gets to benefit from you being down there, so that'll be great.
The team will be amazing. The team is amazing and will carry the work. Very
Yeah.
proud of it.
You know, we had a lot of shifting and moving while you were here, and so thank you for helping to stabilize our district. I know you were a big part of that, and so I think we're in a good position, and we only wish you the very, very best. So
If you're ever in Grand Haven, come visit.
Yes. Well, good. Okay. Any other items right now? Anybody? And
Just a reminder, graduation's this week.
yes, Friday night.
Friday night,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Friday night for Traverse City High, and then Sunday will be Central High School and West. West is first, Central High School is later in the afternoon, so yeah, so.
If they're early, make sure you don't wait till the last minute, right?
That's
How
right.
early? How early?
Traffic usually is not
30
really
minutes
easy.
early?
We always have those few kids
Huh?
who are like they're supposedly on their way.
Yeah,
Drive
right.
safely.
Yeah.
we had that accident last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right,
Yeah.
that's right. So with that, our next board curriculum meeting will be here in this room, Tuesday, June 25th at 8:30 in the morning. So with that, the meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kelly, for printing